Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. The first time on the channel for a long time. Could be forever. Don't even know, mate. Connor and Joe are back here. The Connor and Joe show, whatever you want to call it. Nostalgia, Mr. Wayman. But I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Keep getting your comments in. We're here to be chatting about Leeds United. Obviously, everything to do with Leeds. There's been business going on today. We know the big news. We know the big injury news. And we're here to chew the fat for your second stream of the day. Mr. Wayman, how are we doing, mate?
Fantastic, mate. Really, really good. The sun's shining. It's great to be on your channel, mate. The GOAT YouTube channel, Mr. Rodrigo. No, it's great to be here, mate. And thanks for having me on.
Good man, good man. Absolute pleasure, mate. All right, chap, says Chilled. Scotty, Matty's in the building saying, what a duo. Double bubble, pure goal, says Steve. Yeah, and we're back. We're back with all the stuff. So what I wanted to do, Joe, is, have you seen the Jesse reaction, mate? Have you watched his press conference?
I did. I've seen a little bit on the Raphinha stuff, yeah, and I've been reading about the left back situation, striker hunt, all that jazz. Yeah. Happy with what he said about Raphinha, bro. I think it's fair. I'm really grateful. Like I seen your post, and I posted something similar. Without Raphinha, we wouldn't be in the Premier League, would we? That goes without saying. I think there were a lot of people that said he'd down tools, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I said that at the time, and I say it now, and I think he's been exemplary, you could argue, in the whole saga, bro, because he could have down tools and said, I'm not coming. He could have put a transfer request, all that sort of stuff, and he didn't. He saved us, man, and we could have gone down and he'd have gone for like 24 mil. So, regardless of what people think of the fee, I'm just happy it's over. We were just talking off air, and it's like, it sounds mad, but I couldn't wait to see the back of him so that we could move on. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, let's move on now. Yeah.
Let's have a look at what Ollie said here. Jesse didn't seem convinced when he was talking about our left back options. Think he agrees with you, Connor. Is that he doesn't want left back options in? I know that he's mentioned Leif Davis. I don't know if you caught that, Joe, but he was talking about Leif Davis. But we'll get on to that in a bit, everyone. I do want to touch on what he said, but I'll touch on the nitty gritty of what he said about Brisbane, the kit, and all this sort of stuff. But in terms of Raphinha, mate, I think you bang on. I think the character of the guy, Jesse was saying that, and I completely agree with him. Like, he could have gone, right? So he'll have known about Barcelona in March, right? February, March, maybe even utterances of it in January, really, in the window. Deco was working behind the scenes. We know he was. I didn't really like the fact that he was going behind Leeds' back. That annoyed me. But, I understand like agents talk to other clubs. I get that. But, we'll get onto the fee, mate. But overall, I think what he did against Brentford, we wouldn't have won that game if it wasn't for him. I think in numerous games towards the back end of the season, he wasn't matching his standards, Joe, that he was in the first half of the season. But people would get really upset about this and they'd say, oh, Connor, it's a team game. Yeah, but it's a team game. But if he wasn't in that team, we'd have been down. I honestly think, Joe, would have been down by about February, March if he wasn't in that team. He was so important.
Yeah, it was huge. Obviously, 12 goals, a number of assists. You look at some of the key moments as well, like you mentioned, the Brentford game. You've got the Norwich game as well, where he provided the cutback for Joffy. When he's going through at that point, I think he's too tight of an angle. Please don't have a go. Please don't have a go. And he didn't. You know what I mean? He made the right choice and cut it back for Joffy. Others might have had a go. We owe him a massive, massive debt, mate. And it showed what it meant to him as well. Like, I know it's deep, but in Brazil, the big on Catholicism and the fact that after the end of the game, he went on his knees across the whole pitch, thanking his God, showed how much it meant to him. He prayed for this stuff to happen. You know what I mean? So it shows how much it meant to him. And I'm so grateful. Look, we spent 17 million on him. It's okay that we'll touch on the fee, but he's still a good businessman, and Leeds will improve for it, which is mad when you consider that we've lost two of our individual best players. But I think the squad overall improves.
You're going to miss him?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I'm glad he's gone to Barca because he's not in the Premier League, but I can't stand Barca anymore. I still want them to lose. But listen, you've spoke about it many a times. He deserves to be fighting at the top of the game. He'll do that. I'd much rather see him in Spain at Barca than at Arsenal or at Chelsea. So that's cool with me, and I think he'll rip it up. I watch a lot of content, and there's so many fans outside of Leeds sort of discrediting the fee and saying it's too much. Some were saying at Arsenal, I don't know if that was sour grapes. I watched something earlier where they were saying that, Anthony's a better prospect that Man United are after than Raphinha. And I'm thinking, you are talking rubbish. Like, for me anyway, I think Raphinha will go right to the top. And I think he'll have an awesome World Cup, won't he? I think he'll rip it up in the World Cup for sure.
I think they almost had to let him go as well, because I think the thing that's annoyed me with it, Joe, is it's a real example of player power nowadays. We had that fee, didn't we, for Chelsea about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and obviously their new owner's trying to make an impact. It's already got Sterling. They're talking about Koulibaly coming in, Nathan Ake, and all these players. So he's trying to make a statement. The money was there. The money was up front. It was 60 million quid, which it looks like more. They were putting that money on the table. That looks like more than we're going to get up front now from Barcelona. And I think that's my only agitation with it, pal. It's the fact that football's changing so much nowadays that, Rafa wanted to hold out. It's his move. Obviously, we know that. But yeah, I think it just signifies how big just the power is of individuals in the game now. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But do you know what as well? Like, the players should be able to choose their own destiny to a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? I think it was his dream move. I think the club have done well by the players. Like, they're not... Sometimes I wish we had someone savage like Daniel Levy, but if you think about the atmosphere... No, it's true though, right? He wouldn't...
No, you're right. Joe, my dad said the exact same thing. My dad said it. If it was Levy, I think for Phillips and Raphinha, it'd have been ridiculous money, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, or they'd still be here. He'd be going, you're not going. Unless they give me X amount. So sometimes I wish we had that. But on the flip side as well, I think the club, they look after the players as well. If we think back to what they did for Berardi, etc., whether you agree with that sentiment or not, they do look after their players. And I think they've done that with both Calvin and Raphinha and said, look, they give us an acceptable amount, we'll facilitate your move and we're happy for you to do that. And I think it leaves a good taste in the players' mouths and probably helps with the atmosphere in the dressing room. We know that I think Jesse's quite big on characters as well. I think the club are, if we think about like when we've not gone for Noah Lang and stuff like that, I think they are, whether or not that's to our detriment, but they hold players, mentality, etc., up to high regard. So I think they want to continue to foster that within the football club. So I think we've done right by the players, even though we might have done ourselves out of a bit of cash. But it's still okay. It's not good that we haven't received up to 100 million for them. Like, that's not great, Connor. And like,
I've seen Brownie on Twitter as well. He's not happy. So Yeah, I think that's definitely something to touch on though, because I think we have to be honest, mate. I think before the window, we were all saying if we don't get 100 million for those two combined, it's going to be an absolute. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you accept the bid from Chelsea, Leeds accept the bid from Villa or West Ham or Spurs for Phillips. You're going to be getting way over 100 million, but that's it. At the end of the day, do you think that's too much sentiment from Leeds United, too much care for their player, or do you think that's the right way of going about it? You get your dream move, you've done wonders for us, or do you think it needed to be a little bit more ruthless? Because then again, Calvin might turn around and went, well, I'm not leaving then.
Yeah, I think, like I said, this group of players, I think it will change now moving forward, Connor. But I think we're sort of debted a little bit to the current group. We know about that, that group under Bielsa, specifically Calvin. I think we owed Calvin one due to the fact that he stayed. Other players would have gone to Aston Villa. That's huge that he didn't. So I think we owed him that. And the same, and for me, the same goes for Raphinha. Like this, Jesse spoke about it, right? This is a guy at his age who knew since about January, February, March, early in the year anyway, that Barcelona wanted him. We believed that personal terms were agreed. He could have down tools. He could have kicked up a fuss. And if he did, bro, the facts are we would not be in this division. You said it yourself. Yeah, we won't be here, right? So I just think we owe them. I do hope the club changes over time, and I think it will, because I think we'll see a more frequent churn of player, i.e. we'll bring them in, they'll do well, they'll move on, and we'll get used to it. And therefore, like Jesse said, we want to get to a place where we can say to either the player, this is an attractive prospect, you want to stay here, or we can say to other clubs, we don't need to sell. I think the thing is, Leeds United needed to sell. I think they were wedded to the idea of moving these two on because there's a lot of down payments still owed on previous players, Firpo, etc. We still owe cash on this. And
Dan James,
and we're trying to improve the squad currently. So I think that's why we've had to go, go on, we'll accept it. Hopefully we get into a better financial position where we can say, nah, if you want to pay for him, you've got to give us what we want, and that's that. And what I will say as well, though, Connor, props to Victor and the club for getting the upfront fee from Barca, because they could have easily done it in installments, and they didn't do that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting the money up front for, I mean, they still owe, I think I mentioned it on the video this morning, they still owe people 130 million. So to get any, I mean, I just can't believe they're able to get away with it. What is it? Is it just preferential treatment because of Barcelona? I mean, if that was Leeds, Joe, we'd have been relegated 4 divisions. Yeah. You know what I mean? I cannot understand how they're able to get away from it. And I almost have a bitter taste in my mouth because as you've quite rightly said, I used to love Barcelona. Barcelona were one of my favourite teams. And now I've got such a bitter taste in my mouth that we've dealt with them and we've had to go through this. I mean, what I don't understand is, Romano, who's probably the best in the game, was reporting something, and he was saying sort of last week, Joe, that it was between 72 to 75 million euros. I mean, that's on his Twitter account. Ben Jacobs was saying the same. So that's a bit confusing how it seems to have reduced a little bit, mate. I don't know if maybe you got it false. I don't know. Maybe there's a euro and pound translation, which seems to have been a bit of a problem.
Does my head in that, by the way. I'm sick of doing the euro to pound thing. It's honestly, I think it's my most searched topic in my history. Euros to pounds, yeah. So it's frustrating, isn't it, mate? And I think the thing is with journalism, you'll know more than me, but a lot of it is guesswork anyway. Of course, it comes from us. There is kind of, you said it on a video actually, where you said about how there's loads of different fees, and you look at that and say, well, no one's really got a clue here. They're all just you know what I mean? When there's loads of different fees for a certain player, like there was the Charles de Ketelaere and one and stuff. So, look, I'm just glad it's over now, Connor. We've got the money, and hopefully, like we've seen with Calvin, deal Monday, by Thursday we have players. Hopefully now, money hits the bank. We see a left back, goalkeeper, and a striker. Do you think they've got the money that they wanted for him? Do you think they've got the money? Because obviously they held out for this amount of time. Yeah. Do you think like Victor and Radrizzani and the 49ers will be happy with the money that they've got? I don't know, because like you said, there's been loads of different figures banded out, and like you said, Fabrizio said X amount. I think I believe the fee to be like 63. I think it was like 55 with 8 million in add-ons. I think that was last week or the other day when I did the video to say it was done. Look, I'm okay with it. I think 70 was fair, but again, I don't know what like you said before, they're the money men, right? I don't have a Scooby-Doo. I struggle to control my own finances. So imagine running a football club, pal, you know what I mean? So, I struggle to put £5 in electric meter at times, mate. So, you know what I mean? I can't say anything.
I think we all are, mate, at the minute. Yeah. Friggin' hell, when I got petrol today.
Yeah,
and then got petrol today, I'm going to start riding my bike everywhere, I think. Gay Best says
it's Jack Grealish cards.
Yeah, it's a player power age. Deco and Raphinha wouldn't let Leeds sell high to other clubs, and he wasn't going to play for Leeds for straight. Yeah, I think it is. But like Joe's quite rightly said, I completely agree. It's just good that it's over with now. Jesse's not going to come out on his press conference today and be really upset by it, but he seemed okay with it. We're talking about the character of Raphinha, and as we've spoken about multiple times, what they've done today, what they've done with Raphinha. He's been magic for Leeds. He's been absolutely magic, and I've never seen anyone like him. Joe, we mentioned it off Harry Kewell. For me, I don't know about you, mate. I know you're just a tad older than me. Sorry, viewers, but he is. But yeah, tad older than me. But Kewell, and we're just talking on a footballing sense here. Of course, we are nothing else. But still, Kewell was still a little bit better for me. What he did with Leeds, the goals he scored, the events he did it in, you know, the stadiums he did it in, and all this sort of stuff. I don't know, the European nights and stuff like this. But maybe Rafa had done it with a better team around him.
True. I don't like to speak of that man.
I said on footballing terms.
Well.
I said on footballing terms.
He was trending on Twitter earlier as well.
It's because it was like the most. I think TalkSport about he was the most traitorous player, and Leeds fans have just hijacked it. With him.
Yeah. I thought he got another job.
And I'll be doing it after this. I'll be doing it after this as well. Don't you worry. I'll be sending that bit to him. But yeah, I think what I'm getting at, mate, is overall, like, to say he's on the same level as him, or even greater than him. I mean, what an impact he's been in 18 months.
Yeah, amazing, and you're right. I think he is the best player we've had since forever. Really, he's great. He's at the height of his powers. He's a Brazilian international. Like, who'd have thought that, mate? Back in League One, that would happen in the time that it has, that we one day be selling a player. The mad thing is, it's like it's like we've entered an ulterior universe where we arguably could pay more for a player than AC Milan and are also demanding X amount from Barcelona. It shows just how, I guess it shows how strong the Premier League is as well. But it's great to have him come through the door in the short space that he did. He's got to go down as one of the best players to ever play for the football club, I think. In the modern era anyway, of course. He's right up there, isn't he? So, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for everything. And then, I hope he has, I have no ill feeling. I hope he has a great career. Do you know what I mean? I hope he goes and wins it all.
Oh, yeah, you're a bit of a weirdo if you've got ill feeling towards him, aren't you? I mean, unfortunately, everybody, there are bigger clubs than Leeds out there. I know it's difficult to get your head around, but it is true. We're going to get on some, of course, we're going to get on some Firpo chat and signings and all this sort of stuff. Just getting into one comment I saw earlier on. Dan, who's a big fan of the channel, says, Connor, and we'll get into your super chats, guys. Connor, after watching your video from earlier today, now that Firpo is going to be out for up to 8 weeks, do you think we should possibly see Ayling at left back? If we do, Dan, my mental health is going to be in big trouble. It's going to be in big trouble.
I can't deal with the voice notes. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, if you're good pals with me on YouTube, KG, Brownie, Joe, you maybe even shove out LUFC Lewis in there as well with some of the voice notes I've sent him. You don't want to see McGilligan's meltdowns when it comes to stuff like this. But now I've seen Cody Drama going to left back, Rasmus going to left back, Ayling going to left back, Dallas going back to left back when he's fit. We need to move on, everyone. We need to move on from this. We have to just get a left back in like every other normal club's done. Villa have gone and got another left back in this week, by the way, as well as Luca Dean. So, yeah, I think that it's because everybody in the Premier League, Joe, knows how important the fullbacks are because, as I've said on multiple videos, they act as wingers now as well. So we can't just be relying on... I completely understand football subjective. You'll have different opinions to me, Joe, whatever, but fans were okay with having Leo Yelder left back because they've seen him twice, once against West Ham and once against someone else at left back when he came off the bench. I mean, he's a centre back by trade. Can we not have Pascal Struijk at left back as well? Can we just have, Joe, a left back, please?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I've said it myself. Although I've got a video coming out after this, which is sort of promoting the the centre back / right back. I've called him the American Swiss Army knife in in Chris Richards. But look, I think I've said it myself. Like, there's left backs out there. They're available. Yeah, so we can certainly acquire one. I had John on from All Stats Aren't We the other day, and he made a great point, Connor. He says, the weakest part of a Bielsa system was through the middle, and we failed to improve on that for 9 windows. The weakest area in a Jesse Marsch system is out at wide fullback, and we're leaving ourselves with Junior Firpo, Leo, etc. I hate to say it. I hope he gets well, and I think he might have had a good season. I know he's only out for a month, but yes, Firpo did well going forward, but he was also beat a number of times by the Blackpool winger. Like, he can't defend. Do you know
Josh Bowler, yeah.
He can't. He's not great at defending, regardless of what people's opinions of him are. He's not great at defending. So,
go on then, Joe? What's obviously watch your videos, get your opinion, of course. And please make sure you go check out Joe's channel. Well worth it. Make sure you're liking. The link is in the title of the video as well. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video as well, guys. Please make sure you subscribe. Content coming out most days. So in terms of Firpo, Joe, is he going to be? Are you on the Furberto Carlos train? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I thought he played well against Blackpool. I will say that.
Yeah, he did.
Someone sent me a picture of, I don't know if you've seen it. Someone sent it me on Twitter. His face superimposed onto Carlos. It was brilliant. But you know me, mate. I like to have fun and stuff. But unlike you, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I am aware that I can be a passion merchant. I am aware that I can side with the club a lot of the time. I'm aware of this, right? That's just me as a person. And some people like it, some people don't. So I have to try and look at it from the club's angle at times. That's just me. And when I heard about Leo Hjelde doing an interview saying Jesse told me we're not getting a left back, in my head I'm going, right, okay, so Jesse's happy with him as second choice. And then I start to accept that because I want to come to terms with the fact that we're not going to sign a left back. That's how it works for me. But the fact that Firpo's broken, yes, he's out for 8 weeks, but that's going to continue. You said yourself, he won't just be injured once. He will be, and not only that, he'll get suspended because the guy can't tackle. You know what I mean? Like, people, you can win money. You can win money on Firpo getting a yellow card.
I did.
Yeah, exactly. People have.
It's paying for my rent.
Yeah, I tell no lies, right? I think it was when I had COVID anyway. Sean, who I go to the game with, he texts me after he got his yellow card. He went, "I've just been in the toilet in the concourse," and someone said, I've stuck 100 quid on Firpo. He went, "He must have got loads of money." But that's how big it was, right? Yeah. I'm willing to put 100 quid on Firpo for a yellow. So
do you remember in the championship when it was like both teams to score on McCormack and you'd always win money through that? It's the same thing, isn't it?
1-0 Wood under Monk. I used to do that all the time.
1-0 Wood, yeah.
So Firpo's guaranteed to be out. Leo's also picked up a knock, which isn't great. Cooper's also got a knock, and they say an Achilles problem.
But before we go into it, mate, just quick shout out to Gary Monk. But go on.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cooper's got a knock, right?
Yeah.
So then Strauch as an option at left back might be over anyway, because he might have to cover for Cooper. Cooper's not getting any younger. We know he'll get injured throughout the season as well. So that's why I'm thinking this Chris Richards thing's come up. It falls seamlessly into place. We have like 3 issues with defenders in different positions. Then all of a sudden, Leeds get mentioned to Chris Richards, who can play anywhere across the back line. It makes sense to me. He's American as well. But I guess what I'm saying is the club are now backed into a corner where they have to get a left back. And I hate to say it, I don't want players to get injured, but it's a good thing, right? They've been forced into it, and it's a good thing for us.
You said it.
It's true though, right? Yeah. Not just maybe if it was just Firpo, they wouldn't have. But then the fact Leo and Cooper have then all got injured, it's like, oh my God, we've let Creswell go out on loan. What happens now?
So is Cooper, right? I actually know that. I think you mentioned it on a WhatsApp thing. He's got injured again, Cooper.
Yeah, so yesterday someone messaged me from Oz who was watching the open training session. They said that Jack Harrison was tried at left back. Leo went off halfway through, and Cooper was training on his own. Then Graham Smith's done an article today to say that Cooper has got an Achilles problem. Cooper's got an Achilles. Now, it might only be small, but what I'm saying is...
He's always crocked. He's always crocked.
This is the point. And I mentioned about Bamford being broken, bro, and someone said to me, have you read the article? Bamford's actually all right. But he also did say in the article, Bamford, that I have to take it slowly. Last season, I had issues with my calf, my quad, my foot, and somewhere else. I'm like, what, 4 different injuries? They're not getting any younger. No. The fact that they're having to manage them through training sessions before we've even started the season shows you we're going to have issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Depth is huge, mate. The depth is absolutely huge. I mean, Rob's just said, shame to see Raf go, but I'm excited to see what Cine can do. Looks good. Give us that in product. Yeah, we really need a left back. Cheers for your donation, mate. I agree. I mean, we need a left back. Radaby Leeds says, what do we make of Firpo being injured? Phil A confirms out for 8 weeks. Show we need to buy. Yeah, I think we just touched on that, mate. I think it's... I mean, I heard him chat today on his reaction, his press conference reaction. He said, "We really like, what's his name, Leif Davis."
Yeah.
Are you convinced with that, Joe? Or
no, I'm not. I'm aware, bro, off a source that we both know is pretty well connected, that Leif was pimped out. Like Leif was offered out to football clubs. Some turned him down. Bournemouth, declined to take him up on a permanent. Bournemouth have just been promoted to the Premier League. Look, I hope Leif does well, right, and proves us wrong. But ultimately, bro, like he's not a Premier League left back. He's not a Premier League left back. So, and I believe the fact that the only reason Leif's on this tour for me is the fact that Firpo got injured, because we know that Ipswich had $1 million to pay, right? We know that Ipswich had $1 million to pay for him. Phil and Graham and that, if you don't believe me, Phil and Graham and that said that, there was $1 million there. So I think the only reason he's gone on the tour is because we were short there. If we bring in a left back, I don't see a career for Leif.
And Joe, there's two clubs in for him. It's Ipswich and Sunderland. If he's I get it with Leeds fans. It's like, very good, Davis. They hear this, the Bielsa thing. Have they seen anything else of him since that? He played 12 times for Bournemouth, was kept out of the side by Zamora. This is what. Do you know what I mean, Joe, when I'm talking about expectations? Like, are we talking about top 10s here? Because if we're talking about top 10s, Leif Davis shouldn't be anywhere near the Leeds United squad, never mind the first 11.
No, exactly. And for those that say, they haven't been given a chance, etc., there's a reason. There's a reason. We can't just give out debuts because it's fun and just to give someone a chance. Do you know what I mean? I think, for me, the previous manager, Marcelo Bielsa, gave youth a chance. And the fact that Leif wasn't, let's not forget last season we were the same in terms of left back and we still sent him out on loan.
Yeah.
And Bielsa did that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't see how he comes back and then Jesse's like, oh yeah, of course he's saying he's doing well, etc. But yeah, I don't look. If people are happy with Leif as our left back going into the season, then that's fair enough. That's cool, but not for me. I think there's gutting seeing that, by the way.
Yeah, everyone, if you've not seen it, Raphinha just landed in Barcelona to be unveiled as a new Barca player. Hello, Barca fans, Raphinha here. That's mad, that, isn't it?
Yeah, in the top and that already, like, good. that hurts seeing that, bro. I can't lie.
Good. Yeah, sorry for the Man City MEN here, guys. That is work. But yeah, there you go. Raphinha's just landed. But yeah, mate, what were you saying? Sorry about Leif.
Yeah, I just don't think he's Premier League quality, mate. Do you?
No, we've got a lot of those, though, haven't we? I think we've got Helder Costa, Casilla, Paveda. We've got to be careful, haven't we, Joe? Because we've got to just get the right. I think the good thing, I don't know if you picked up on this from his press conference. He said that there's more to do. And he said that we're looking at players. He didn't say player. There's people who are saying, we've got one striker to come in and that's it. But players makes me think, right, okay, here we go. I mean, Joe, who would be, I know you've mentioned Chris Richards there. I know you've got a video coming out on him as well. Would you have any other alternatives for left back, or would you get Barry Douglas back, as Alfie's saying?
Yeah, I hate to have to bring him up on your podcast because I know you're not
careful, Joe. You're going to bring up. Oh.
I know you're not a big fan, but I'd have to I'd have to say Charlie Taylor at Burnley. No, I would. I think Charlie's a very, very capable Premier League left back. I agree with you in terms of that he probably would usurp Firpo within a matter of games. He'd be available at a cut down price. What further solidifies that for me is the fact that Nick Pope went for 10 million. So you can't be expecting 10 for Charlie. It's not going to happen. So I think he'd be available. You've mentioned a load this morning. We were linked to Tagliafico in the past, for example. He's available at a cut down price of like 5 million. The Reguilon as well. I know he might be going back to Seville, but we can at least have conversations with these players. Like the conversation with Reguilon. Do you really want to go back to Spain? Do you want to come? There's a number of options out there, but I do like the look of Chris Richards just because he can cover a lot of players and it makes sense. The American link, etc. I'm not one of them, mate. If they're from Salisbury, it doesn't matter for me. where they're from, as long as they're a good footballer. You know what I mean? I do think, though, and I do go along with the sentiment that if it didn't work out for Jesse, we're stuck with a lot of players that can play Jesse ball. And then, you know, do we go a different route? But yeah, there's loads of options out there. I'd be happy with a left back, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I think as long as it's not a Victor Orta reclamation project, you know what I mean, like we've seen with Firpo, let's get someone we know who's going to come in and hit the ground running. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I see someone say get Nuno Tavares. Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, I think another interesting thing was he was talking about players moving on, and he was saying as well that what I'd like for Leeds United and what the board would like for Leeds United is for us to be in a position where that you know, people look at the project that we've got and they say, "No, we're not going to leave." Do you think, Joe, that's a little bit naive of Jesse? Because I think no matter what standard you're at, even if you're Leicester, even if you're Aston Villa, you know, even, I mean, not really Aston Villa, but you know what I mean? You've spent a lot of money and they're trying to get to that top 10 consistently, Wolves or whatever. They're always going to be cherry picked, aren't they, by the top sides? And unfortunately, if Barcelona ever come in for a Leeds player, it doesn't matter if, you know, we're getting top 6, top 8. We'll have a better chance, but it's always going to happen, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there will always be the pull of the big boys, and you know, I know a lot of people think we're up there, but we just have to look at like Rio, for example. You know, we were at the top of our heights there, and I think he said there'd only be one club I'd go to at that time, and we were in the Champions League. You know, we were doing bits, and he still made that move. Of course, Man United are a totally different football club now, of course, but no, I guess we will always be, you know. It's like fodder, isn't it? You become fodder for the top 6, you know what I mean? I do envisage a situation like now, for example, and people might not agree, but like West Ham's a better prospect than Leeds United, you know. Of course, Newcastle is, but I'd argue, you know, Tottenham, even, for me, if we were to ever get back to that, for me, we're bigger than a Tottenham. That's just my opinion. I agree. We're bigger than a West Ham. We're bigger than a Newcastle. Okay. You know, we're bigger than a City. I know that sounds insane now, but you know what I mean, though, historically, right? If we were to ever get back up there, City's obviously Galactical ball and that, but they're not like, you know, like
empty seats.
Yeah, exactly. They're not Liverpool. Because Man United, I don't like to speak about it, but let's say they're not Liverpool, right? So, you know, the facts are we'd never be at that level. And I know that'll irk a lot of people, but Liverpool are huge, right? Real Madrid are huge. Juventus are huge. You know, these that have won multiple Champions Leagues. That's why it always hurts me that we never actually got that Champions League, that European Cup, you know, after we got screwed against Munich. Because I was saying, if we had a European Cup, you can say, like, we won the European Cup.
Mate, a couple more steps as well in 2000, in the early 2000s, isn't it?
True, yeah. So yeah, I mean that will always happen, but you know, I was listening to something earlier, and someone made the point about Bamford in, like, let's say for example, if he was fit last season and he had another standout season, he would be attracted to a move to a Leicester, to a West Ham, to a, you know, these clubs.
Tottenham, yeah.
Whereas if we're up there, why would you want to move from Leeds to go to these clubs? Do you know what I mean? We're a long way off that yet. People don't want to hear it. You know, it's like the conversation last summer about taking top 6 players on loan because we're Leeds and why should we train other people's players up, etc. Well, that's where we are. We have to accept that fact, and we need some realism at times. There's still people like the De Ketelaere stuff. The guy's just tweeted, by the way, he's actually going to be playing for Club Brugge.
I'm listening, mate. I'm just putting the charger in. Go on.
Yeah, so there's a tweet come out on De Ketelaere to say that he's actually going to be playing for Club Brugge in the Super Cup, because Milan are not getting close to their expectations. So the fact that previously he wasn't allowed to, be involved. He'd been told to not turn up for pre-season training, and now he's playing in the Super Club in Belgium, shows that they're not anywhere close to a deal. But I see a lot of Leeds fans writing that off because they go, "You don't want to move here. You need to get over it. You don't want to be here." We have to accept that, you know, AC Milan are a bigger pull than Leeds United. You know, Leicester are a bigger pull. But it's like saying Raphinha, his first option wasn't Leeds United. We need to accept where we are. For me, if we're willing to sit and wait patiently for De Ketelaere, who knows? Who knows? The fact that he's playing for Club Brugge soon, that's got to be a good sign, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think
on that, Connor, do you are you like I assume you're not going like, oh, I don't want to come here, so I don't want to see him turn up, you know?
No, I know what you mean. Cause I think you're coming more from the angle of like, we're Super Leeds, we should be able to attract, we should be able to attract anyone. And I agree with you. Like, you just got to look. I mean, this is AC Milan. Unfortunately, Leeds fans, it doesn't matter what's happened previously. I mean, in a certain way, it does because it's AC Milan and they've done so much previously. But we're not on the same level as AC Milan. The only thing that draws anybody close to Leeds is the fact that it's the Premier League. But I think. I don't know about you, Joe, but I'd just be a little bit like, I've got a couple of mates who are Chelsea fans, believe it or not, probably never stepped foot in London, but they said that they were a little bit peeved off at the fact that Raphinha was just literally holding out for the Barca move. And I think from my point of view, I just want people to be, willing and happy to come to Leeds. I don't want to spend this amount of money on players and they may be just thinking to themselves, secondary option. We need everyone to be dying for the shirt, really, especially in this system when we haven't got an abundance of quality, really. So, in a sense, I understand what they mean, but if it's coming from that standpoint of because we're Leeds United, they should be, they should be coming to us and all that instead of AC Milan. Nah, not for me. Not for me. I don't really understand that. GJP says, have you watched AC Milan? GJP, they're Serie A champions. They're Serie A champions. They've won the Champions League. I believe it's the second most times in history. I think Real Madrid are the only team above them. That's it. They are a top side, so it doesn't matter how they play. And they beat Leeds United as well. There's got to be a bit of realism.
Italian champions, like current Italian champions.
Champions, yeah.
Yeah. It's like City, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If you're going to move to England, you would move into the champions of England. Like, they're the champions of Italy. It's Milan as well. Like
Milan, yeah, exactly. And that plays a big part, doesn't it, Joe? It's like people don't think about that. It's like the location. Where would you rather live, Milan or Leeds? Like, come on, it's what it is, isn't it? So it looks like as well, Elia Capriel has moved to Bari today. I guess you go back on that more to do slant, Joe, when it even comes to goalkeepers. You mentioned a keeper, a left back, and a striker. What are your thoughts on a keeper, mate?
We need one, yeah, for sure. I do think we will do one as well. I was of the opinion we wouldn't, but look, I think what Leeds United are trying to do is get their first team, ready. Get the first team ready. Once that's sorted, in reality, the experienced keeper can wait till midnight on deadline day. It's not that much of a pressing issue, if that makes sense, Connor. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the striker was, the centre midfielders were. And what will happen is, towards the end of the window, these free agents might reduce their terms, may be more willing to move to Leeds United. I seen something on a Discord earlier on that Foster didn't want to move up north. I don't know how reliable that is, but I'd seen that. That may change. Let's say if that's true, towards the end of the window, if Foster hasn't got a club, he might be willing to move up north and reduce his wages. So it's not a pressing issue. I do think they will. If they don't, it's negligent, because people will throw at me and say, Klaassen played well against Wolves. Yeah, he did, but he also played terrible in the under-23s for a big amount of it. I get BPF vibes, bro. I get BPF vibes, and people used to hammer me on before, saying how he's a good keeper and that, but people get, I don't know, like
carried away
because he'd come up through the youth setup kind of vibe. He was just never good enough, and I don't know if Klaassen is. I'm sorry to say that. I don't know if he is.
Yeah, 100%. They need to get another one in. They need to get another one in. Like I think it was last year, Joe. Burnley have always had three decent keepers as well, but I think it was Hennessy. Heaton was at Man United, wasn't he? But there was Hennessy, there was another one, and then there was Nick Pope. But normally, I think before they had Joe Hart, they had Hennessy, they've had Nick Pope as well. I think
Man United even had like Lee Grant, didn't they?
Lee Grant, yeah. And he gets your English quota up as well, doesn't it? Which is always a big thing. You look at City. How long have they had Scott Carson on the books now?
Yeah. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Even if you went out and got Andy Lonergan, do you know what I mean, though? What I'm saying is there are experienced goalkeepers out there. I'm not advocating signing Andy Lonergan, but what I'm saying is they are out there. He was at Liverpool a couple of seasons ago, Lonergan. So it's
after Leeds as well.
Yeah, exactly. So they're out there. We will get one. We will.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, just get through a couple of comments. There's loads of people saying that Leeds are still a bigger attraction than AC Milan. Fair enough. Football's subjective, I guess. Reggie says, says, I still need a striker. Don't trust Bamford to keep fit. I think you bang on and puts you on. That's why I think Joffrey's going to get a lot of minutes, Joe, because I think there is going to be periods this season where you're going to have Bamford out for probably long periods of time. I unfortunately think that's just the way his career is going to go now. I mean, let's be right. Before this season, Joe, when he's been out for the majority of it, I think he had one good season at Borough where he scored a lot of goals as well. But aside from that, his entire career has been battered by injuries. Even when he was at Leeds, do you remember when he joined Leeds? And Roof had him out the side for about 3 or 4 months because he was injured. So yeah, maybe we're going to see Gelhardt. But I do get a little bit worried about that. Once again, that thinness up top there. Do you? I mean, or are you fine with Gelhardt? Gelhardt gets injured as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, Gelhardt's. I'd read earlier that Gelhardt has picked up a notch potentially. I may be wrong. I swear I read that. But the thing is with Bamford, again, like on that interview that he did, where people were saying to me, "Yeah, he said he's fine. What you want about? He's not broken." Like just to pick some of the key bits out. Yeah. Obviously, the fact that he played against Stoke, then didn't play against Blackpool for me is an issue because it's like we're managing him in pre-season, having to manage him. All I could think about was Ledley King, bro. You know, he then mentioned last season, he said ankle, hamstring, quad, and foot kept him out from contributing. So not just one area, 4 parts of his body. He mentioned about, you know, the plantar, whatever it is, the issue with his foot is okay. He said it's fine. He said it does put you out of sync, but you have to build into everything gently. You know, that tells me he's going to break down at points and he's going to have to be managed. So it's not ideal, is it? So, you know, it's conceivable that he's not going to play 38 games for Leeds United in the Premier League. So we do need another option there. It's too much to put on Joffrey's shoulders for me. I think sometimes he's probably better just off the striker as well. He's very bullish, can win the ball in tight areas, ride challenges. I think as your main focal point, I'm not too sure, Connor. I think it's better to have him just slightly off. That's just my opinion. We know how good he is, but it's a lot to put on his shoulders as well. And what I don't want to see is these players burn out. Do you know what I mean? These players burn out and have too much put on them at such a young age. It's clear maybe from Joffrey's stature and his build that he's already having issues at such a young age with injuries, bro. That's something you need to consider as well, you know, because he's not your archetypal footballing body, is he? If you know what I mean. He's very Rooney-esque. You don't get many of them big stock, because that's what he is, right? If you look at other football, maybe I'm being wrong, but I think there could be issues with him as well over the course of the season. We've seen it already. So we definitely need another option. The only thing that worries me, Connor, and I don't know how you feel about this, every single striker we've been linked with is a different profile. CDK, Eddie Nketiah, Kalle Mwendo, Joshua Zirkzee, whoever. Like, for me, you couldn't get any further apart from Diaz from Eddie Nketiah to a CDK. They're just totally different, bro.
Yeah, they are. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, I said that on the video the other day. I just said as well, like, sometimes you do not worry, but you do think about the plan they had. I mean, when they went from even Bielsa to Jesse Marsch, everyone thought it'd be really seamless, and it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. But I guess the thing is, Joe, there's going to be a lot of agent talk, isn't there? There's going to be loads of just agents leaking out all this sort of stuff so they can get a better price for their assets. But yeah, I mean, ideally, I'd get 2 strikers, mate. I would. I don't think that's going to happen, but just maybe a striker on loan and then a fully fledged one, you know. But I am happy with the depth. But I guess versatility wise, you could put Sinisterra up there. You might be able to put Jack Harrison up there. Dan James. I'm just sick of seeing. I know. This is the thing. Like, it's got to be. We've just got to go into this season. And we said at the start, didn't we, Joe? It's a lot of revisionism now. Everyone's turning back and saying, "Oh, we've had a great window and all this sort of stuff." Which is, I don't think we've had a great window at all. I think we've had a good window, but I think to thicken out the squad, to sustain the squad, to improve it fully, we still need to invest in a hell of a lot more, because at the end of the day, mate, when we do start breaking down, which we're breaking down already with bodies, when we get into the season and we're breaking down with bodies, then those same fans will come out and say, well, why didn't we buy anyone? Why didn't we thicken out the squad? We need 12 signings in the summer. And it's like, we really need to plan appropriately now. It's good what we've done, but it's not enough, is it?
I like the window, bro.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
think if we went in right now and we had a couple of breakdowns, like you've just let's say Bamford or Cooper were injured, like it's not. Everyone will turn around and be like, why didn't we do something for Bamford in January in the summer? Sorry.
If we were to get left back, goalkeeper, and striker, I think we've had a great window. That's just my opinion, bro. Yeah. I know. Maybe
I agree.
Additional, and we do differ on opinion. We do that, right? We don't always agree. But I think striker, left back, goalkeeper, we've had a great window.
Yeah, I do.
And I hope that will happen. We can't go into the season without a striker for sure. But the club are aware of that. They're doing it. Like Jesse said, we've had conversations. We're confident. So that means to me there's multiple targets. It's just which comes available. We know CDK one. We know Callum Mwendo's one. For all we know, CDK goes to Milan and then bam, Callum Mwendo comes straight in the door. That deal might be done. It's just a case of waiting for CDK. I thought the CDK one was done, but the fact he's playing for Club Bruges gives me more renewed hope. Actually, it might not be done. We'll have to wait and see. So striker will get done. It's then the left back, isn't it? I think I agree with you, and I'll use a word you use. If we, even with Firpo, you could argue and level at the club, it's negligent. I think I have to come back to that point that was made on my show. The weakest part of the pitch in the Jesse Marsch system is your fullbacks, especially when we're all over on the right-hand side and then they loop it over and Firpo's on his own. That's the weakest part of the pitch. So it would be negligent from the club to not do anything there. You've mentioned it yourself about the right wingers in the division. If you're asking a centre-back come left-back to deal with that, for 20 games, 25 games, we're going to struggle. Do you know what I mean? We're going to struggle. So I think we will do a left-back. We have to. And then the goalkeeper has to be done as well. But I think that would be a fantastic... I'm using bigger superlatives now, aren't I? But I think it will be a great window. I know you might not agree, but
I do. Honestly, Joe, I do. And this maybe I'm coming across as saying it's negative. All I'm saying is, and this is to this chat sticky. This chat is like standing in the south stand, so much negativity and the positive people get shouted at. I insanely positive about the upcut. This is the thing. Like if you think more,
I've never been called negative. I've never been called.
You're on
negative.
the channel, mate. Welcome. Come all. No, but this is the thing. I've said this plenty of times before. If I've ever come on this channel and said I think it's good so far, but I think we need 2 or 3 extra, you get called negative. So unless you turn around and say, "Oh, everything we've done is amazing. Now we could go into the season now and finish top 10," you deem negative. And that is what it is. All I'm saying is, I think, as I've just said to you multiple times, mate. It's good right now. I'm really happy. Sinister, I think, it's a brilliant signing. Mark Rocker, I think he looked brilliant against Blackpool. I'm really excited to see him. And Christensen, I think, is going to be an absolute steal. Aronson, I'll be interested to see what happens with Aronson. And I've missed one more out, haven't I? Missed.
Tyler Adams, my guy versus your guy.
Yeah. I'm hoping he does well. I think he'll be all right. It'll be a decent signing. But that's what I mean. But I do think we need additions, mate. And I think you're in the same boat. The only thing I was saying, and I think this was why people jumped on it when it's spoken about negative. Me and you were talking about patterns and trends and stuff that happens. We've already seen a pattern in pre-season. Cooper's injured. Bamford's maybe got a niggle. You just mentioned that Gelhart's maybe got a niggle. All I'm saying is if we were to bring in a striker, a fully fledged striker, and then maybe a signing on loan, which is doable, an opportunistic signing, that would probably be more beneficial to Leeds United. That's not negative. That's me just saying that would help us out in the long run, surely.
Yeah, for sure. In an ideal world, we could do them all, right? And the club would love to do that as well, but that's why they're the bit, they have to manage it right. But what I will say, now that we've got these injuries, the club have no excuses when it comes to left back. That's the one area for me, because I think we will get a striker, and the club have said as much. But if we didn't, even still, you have options there. Okay, they're not great, James, etc., but you have options. The one area we don't have options is left back. So we have a perfect opportunity to address it. We know when we didn't address the centre midfield issue, look what happened. So the club can't be burnt by that again. There's no excuses for it, in a sense. You have to get the left back now, because we've got 3 decent games, start of the season. Is it Wolves, Southampton, and then we've got Chelsea at home, which, they're changing a lot. We might have a chance in. You don't want to be starting that game with I hate to say it, with Leif Davis as your left back. I
No.
don't want to be starting them first three, and we know that Firpo's out for the first month of the season. So let's get a left back, and even if it is, and those that are saying like, let me just address Ruben. What about Drame at left back? No disrespect to Drame. He played at right back against Arsenal and got absolutely tortured by Marsch.
He's not a left back
That's
either.
what I'm saying. So the fact he got tortured at right back in his
back.
position, let's not move him over to the left where he's not a left back. Let's get a left back or someone who's competent enough in that position.
Yeah. Joe, have you got anything against Americans being in this Leeds United side?
No, I'm all for it.
No. I think it's a bit of a strange thing. Taylor Jones, I like how he immediately has issues on the American players telling, and then we've got an agree down here with another American Sergeant Pickett. Strange. We are a big on this channel and Joe's channel. We absolutely love the American mentality that's with Leeds United now. I don't understand why that's been. I mean, we've just been speaking about Junior Firpo for the majority of it, so I don't know where that's come from.
What I would say in response to that, if you know the Men in Blazers, they actually clipped up a part of my video, blowing the trumpet of the American national team. So I don't know where that.
Yeah, I've been hammered as well, mate, for saying apparently I believe in the American system too much. So there you go. Weird little agendas, some people having it, but. Okay, mate. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've had 1,000 people. We've got 1,000 people live. Make sure you go check out Joe's. His link is in the description below. It's titled of his YouTube channel is in the description below. Check out his channel. Some great stuff on there. Make sure you subscribe to the One Leeds Fan Channel as always. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Head up to the Patreon if you want some bonus content. We have 2 videos a week over there. And if you want to donate to the channel, there is a thanks option just in the description below, which all goes into the run of the channel. Joe. Oh, we've not spoken about Mata. We haven't spoken about Mata. We haven't spoken about Mata.
We haven't. Bro. I thought you were saving it, bro. I know. I was like, oh no.
Sorry. Yeah, I've just seen it in the chat. Thank you for everybody reminding me before we go. Juan Mata, yay or nay, Joe?
Yes.
Develop.
I think he could do a job. He's so experienced. I think if he came in on a short-term deal, I think you could get him at a decent enough wage. He's free, of course. I think in terms of the wage, if we were, normally I would say we'd be unwilling to pay him what he wants, but I don't think he'd be anywhere close to like what we're currently paying a Firpo or what we're currently paying a Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo might be on about 100k a week. I think if he were to come in on a short-term deal, and what you have to also throw into the mixer is, bro, let's say, for example, Rodrigo was to move on. At a price, could Mata do Rodrigo's job? The answer is yes. Does he have valuable experience? Yes. Does he maybe offer you more than what Rodrigo does? Yes. So again, these are things that the club might look at. We've heard the links to Rodrigo. If you can move him on for a fee, get his wages off, and then not have to pay Mata a fee and just pay him his wages, it's win-win. That might be a reason why we're looking at it. I know a lot of people say about age, but those said, like my man's just said there, look at what Pablo did. I know it goes against the grain of what we've been doing currently, but I like Juan Mata. I rate Juan Mata. I hate that he was at Chelsea and Man United, but he was always a good player. Always a good player. So if a deal can be done and it's, a good price in terms of wage, why not? What about yourself?
Yeah, I'd like it. I think, we saw even, I mean, everyone's mentioning the high, I mean, James just said the high running and pressing system. I mean, we had a much higher and pressing system under Marcelo Bielsa, and Pablo Hernandez was playing every week. Very similar player. And we've also been playing a pressing system with Rodrigo in the side as well. Yeah. And the system's not been completely broken, and Rodrigo doesn't press. He just jogs around. So for me, if we're talking this summer, mate, about upgrading players, Juan Mata is 34. We're still playing for Man United last season. I've got it on, there's a lot of good people who within, the Manchester Evening News who still think he could have done another season as a bench option. There's quality bringing off the bench and all this sort of stuff. We've got to once again, Joe, think about where we are. We finished 17th last season. If we're having conversations with Juan Mata's representatives and we can afford to bring him into the side, he will bring quality to this Leeds side. Imagine him alongside, Jack Harrison, a rotation option with Aronson, relieve the pressure on him a little bit, Sinistera, those through balls, those key passes to another striker as well. I don't know why you'd say no to that, mate.
Yeah. So it's a no-brainer. I think he would work great. And again, you mentioned there about we need to realise where we are, and there's few people in the comments saying about Lingard. This comes back to realising where we are. Lingard will want 150 grand a week. Mata will want nowhere close to that. Lingard will want to play European football if he's to stay in the Premier League, like a West Ham, for example, like a Newcastle. I know they're not European football, but they can offer him more. I mean, Lingard, to be fair to him, he wants to go to America, which I think is a madness because it's a total waste of a talent, but that shows you the mentality of where he's at. But what we have to do, if we were to approach Lingard's agent, it would get laughed out of the park. Genuinely, it'd be like, I'm not going to Leeds United, not a chance. Mata will have a conversation. Do you know what I mean? So that, again, it comes back to the fact of realising where we are as a football club. I think he could come in and do a fantastic job. And if we were to, lose a Rodrigo, would you be happy with him as a replacement and a transfer fee being brought in? Yeah, for me, for sure. So I think if a deal can be done, why not?
I think a big thing you said as well is if it's a short deal, you literally could get him on a 6 month or a year deal. It doesn't. I think we have to learn. We have to learn, mate, from what we've done before with Rodrigo. When we put him on a longer contract. We have to be ruthless if we were to get these negotiations as well. It can't be just what Juan Mata wants. If Leeds were to approach Juan Mata, we'd have to put the deal on the table and say, look, take it or leave it. Which I'm sure he'd definitely look at. Apparently, he's close friends with Rodrigo. Sorry, not Rodrigo. Victor Orta. So I don't know, mate, but I just think that'd be added quality. I'll be honest, Joe. I don't think it'll happen. What do you think?
No. I would argue not as well, but I think it's worthwhile to have the discussion. And I think he probably gets offered. I read some of the reports, and Al Halil over in Saudi Arabia are willing to give him more money. He's at that stage of his career where he might fancy that. There's clubs in Turkey that's still playing in Europe. So
can I ask you as well on that club in Turkey, who Rodrigo is, they're allegedly interested in. I sort of quote tweeted a journalist, and he's quite a big journalist out there as well. And just his response, which I don't know if you saw it, which was was them scoring against Leeds at Ellen Road, and it's just like, mate, it's just not the right tone. Don't respond with that. But where do you sit on it, mate? Because I mean, if they're to offer us 15 million, right, for Rodrigo, I mean, that would I can't believe they'd offer us 15 million. But if they were to offer us 15 million for him, and they're the only club in for Rodrigo, and we're only going to make a loss on him, in the next couple of years, he could even go for a free transfer. What do you do? Do you deal with them, or do you make an operating loss?
I don't know, bro. I don't know if I care enough about Rodrigo.
Yeah. Whereas Alioski was maybe a bit different, wasn't
he? Yeah. For me, it's such a difficult subject to even to speak on. And props to you for when you did, because I find it so hard to speak about because I don't know how to put into words. Because everyone's got a different of opinion, and those that were close to it will be vehemently no, and rightly so. They'll say not a chance we ever do business with that football club, and I understand that as well. But then, the current regime, of course, they need to, read the room. But if there's a club willing to pay X amount for a player we don't want, do we care that much about Rodrigo to say, go on, then off you go? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? So, again, I couldn't really say. But it's never really worked out for Rodrigo. And ultimately, if the club wants him, then pay for him and we'll move him on and maybe look to replace.
Yeah, of course it's a tough one. I understand. It's very unique in football, isn't it, Joe? Very unique, our situation with Galatasaray. You're almost looking at a moral standpoint in comparison to an economic standpoint. It's like, yes, the money would be unbelievable. But if Galatasaray are looking to pay for him, surely we could look at another club and say, look, Rodrigo, like Olympiacos, let's say, if he's looking at that, if he's looking at the European mainland and say, look, he'd be excellent for your club and be brilliant in the centre attacking midfield role. Galatasaray have offered 15 million. We'll let you have him for 16 million. Almost play him against Galatasaray and use them as a bit of a pawn. But who knows? But yeah, I think if we're able to move on.
We should have Barca when we had the chance back in January, bro.
Yeah, 100%. I just don't think, I don't know about you, but I'm not, I mean, me and you have even had a chat. I'm just not sure it's ever going to ignite for him at Leeds. I think it's been a dud sign. It's been a very bad signing. So I think looking to move him on.
Like, he doesn't start, Connor. He doesn't start for me. And I think the thing is, like, Jesse came in, right, and tried to improve him by speaking well of him in the press, making him part of the leadership group, you know, a bit of man management. It worked for about 2 games and then he fell off again. I think he only turns up against teams in the bottom 3. Everyone else you can write him off against. It's frustrating because we paid 27 million for him. He's now being like clipped up on social media, being like, yeah, and maybe they're trying that different narrative now. And he looks a lot of fun and whatnot, but yeah, it's just never worked out, and it's disappointing because it's our record transfer fee. So I don't think it will. He's never been a goal getter, though, has he? Anyway, you know what I mean. He's never gonna score your hatful. So you need to give us something more, and he doesn't. And I don't think he starts. I don't think he starts. So I even think Rodrigo probably would favour a move if a decent club came in for him.
Yeah, I think so. I agree, mate. I agree. But let's leave it there, mate. Really appreciate your time. Really appreciate everybody else's time. Make sure you're liking the video, go and checking Joe out and all that sort of good stuff. Guys, have a good evening or afternoon, and we'll see you in a bit. Cheers.